Welcome to our channel. Enjoy today's story and learn English in a fun and engaging way.
In the bustling town of Sunnyvale, the children of Pinewood Elementary had been eagerly anticipating the annual school dance. Among them were three best friends, Mia, Jake, and Lila. Each had their own hopes and dreams for the big night. Mia, with her sparkling blue eyes and golden hair, dreamed of twirling around the dance floor in her princess-like gown. She was a bit shy but always kind-hearted. Jake, the sporty and energetic boy with a mop of curly brown hair, was eager to show off his cool dance moves. Lila, with her wild imagination and a knack for storytelling, wanted to capture every moment of the evening to write about in her magical journal. As the sun set on the day of the dance, Mia paced nervously in her room. She looked absolutely stunning in her dress, but her thoughts were filled with worry. What if no one asked her to dance? Meanwhile, Jake was busy practicing his latest dance routine in front of the mirror. He was determined to impress everyone, especially his friends. Lila, on the other hand, was jotting down her excitement and sketching scenes of what she expected the night to be. As the clock struck 7, the trio met at the school gymnasium, which had been transformed into a dazzling ballroom. Streamers hung from the ceiling, and twinkling lights added a magical touch. Music filled the air, and laughter echoed from all corners. Mia, Jake, and Lila stood at the entrance, taking in the stunning sight. Mia's heart raced as she clung to Lila's arm. "What if my dress gets stepped on?" she whispered. Lila smiled reassuringly. "Just have fun, Mia. It's going to be a night to remember." As the music started, Jake grabbed both girls' hands and led them to the dance floor. They twirled, laughed, and even stumbled a few times. Mia's fears melted away as she danced with her friends, feeling like she was part of a fairy tale. Suddenly, Jake spotted Mrs. Harper, their kind and always encouraging teacher. She approached with a smile, offering them some lemonade. "You three look like you're having the time of your lives," she said cheerfully. "We are," Jake beamed. "Thanks to Mia's beautiful dress and Lila's awesome stories, this night is perfect."
Let's enjoy next story.
Once upon a time in a quaint little village, there was a charming mouse named Milo. Milo was a very curious mouse who loved to explore, but there was one thing he didn't like: visiting the dentist. Milo's friends had all been to see Dr. Toothington, the kind and gentle dentist, but Milo was too scared. He imagined all sorts of scary things like enormous drills and loud noises. One sunny morning, Milo felt a tiny pain in his tooth. He tried to ignore it, but the pain just wouldn't go away. His best friend, a cheerful squirrel named Sandy, noticed Milo was not his usual chirpy self. "Milo, you should visit Dr. Toothington," she suggested with a reassuring smile. "He's very gentle and so nice." But Milo shook his head, still too scared. A few days later, the pain became unbearable. Milo couldn't eat his favorite treats anymore. Sandy saw her friend struggle and decided to help. She took Milo by the paw and led him through the forest to Dr. Toothington's clinic. The clinic was a cozy little place with a big sign that read, "Dr. Toothington, the friendliest dentist." As they entered, Milo was surprised to see that it wasn't scary at all. There were colorful posters on the walls, a jar of lollipops on the counter, and a big comfy chair in the middle of the room. Dr. Toothington, an old wise owl with kind eyes and a gentle voice, greeted them warmly. "Hello, Milo, I hear you have a toothache," Dr. Toothington said. Milo nodded nervously. Sandy held Milo's paw tightly as he climbed into the comfy chair. Dr. Toothington examined Milo's tooth carefully. "You have a tiny cavity, but don't worry, we'll fix it right up," he reassured Milo. With gentle hands, Dr. Toothington cleaned Milo's tooth and filled the cavity. There was no pain, no loud noises, and no giant drills, just the soft hum of happy, friendly sounds. When it was all done, Dr. Toothington handed Milo a lollipop and said, "See, that wasn't so bad." Milo grinned from ear to ear, feeling silly for being so scared. From that day on, Milo was no longer afraid of the dentist. He even told all his friends how wonderful Dr. Tithington was. And the next time he had to visit for a checkup, he went with a big happy smile. The end.
Let's enjoy next story.
It was a bright sunny morning, and Piper the penguin was excited. Today was the day she was going to the swimming pool with all her friends. Piper put on her favorite red swimsuit and waddled out of her igloo, carrying her colorful beach towel. At the pool, she met her friends Sammy the seal, Tilly the turtle, and Benny the beluga. They all cheered with delight when they saw each other and eagerly jumped into the pool. The water was cool and refreshing. Piper swam around with Sammy, who showed off his amazing flips and dives. Tilly, with her gentle nature, floated peacefully on her back, while Benny created fun waves with his tail. Suddenly, Piper noticed something shiny at the bottom of the pool. She took a deep breath and dove down. When she resurfaced, she realized she had found a beautiful sparkling shell. All her friends gathered around, admiring the treasure. As the day went on, they played various water games, Marco Polo, underwater races, and even a splashing contest. Laughter rang out as they enjoyed their time together. When it was time to leave, the friends dried off and promised to meet again soon. Piper felt the warmth of the sun and the joy of friendship, knowing it had been a perfect day at the swimming pool.
Let's enjoy next story.
Once upon a time in a sunny little town, there were three best friends: Max the monkey, Bella the bunny, and Oliver the owl. They decided to spend a fun-filled day at the brand new amusement park that had just opened nearby. Max was always curious and loved trying new things. Bella was a bit timid but loved being with her friends, and Oliver, the wise one, always had a plan. The trio hopped on the first ride they saw, the Ferris wheel. As they ascended higher and higher, Max wanted to swing their gondola, but Bella held his tail and whispered, "Please don't, Max, it's so high." Oliver, seeing Bella's concern, suggested, "Let's just enjoy the view from up here. It's spectacular." From the top of the Ferris wheel, they could see the entire park and even the sea glistening in the distance. After the Ferris wheel, they wandered over to the bumper cars. Max, full of energy, zoomed around, bumping into everyone with a giggle. Bella was more careful, driving slowly and trying to avoid the chaos. Oliver, ever the strategist, observed the patterns and managed to avoid most of the collisions, making Bella laugh with his clever maneuvers. Next, they headed to the roller coaster, the park's main attraction. Max was excited and couldn't wait to feel the rush, but Bella was hesitant. "What if it's too scary?" she asked. Oliver, always reassuring, said, "We'll be right here with you, Bella. Let's try it together." They boarded the coaster, and as it clicked its way up the first big hill, Bella squeezed her friend's hands tightly.
Let's enjoy next story.
In a quaint little town, nestled between green meadows and flowing streams, there was a neighborhood unlike any other. Every summer, the residents eagerly anticipated one event that brought everyone together: the annual block party. This year's block party was extra special because it was organized by Timmy, a curious and energetic 10-year-old with a knack for adventures. With his bright red cap and trusty blue sneakers, Timmy sprinted from house to house, delivering handmade invitations. Don't miss the best block party ever. Each family in the neighborhood contributed something unique. Mrs. Fernandez from the bakery down the street promised her famous chocolate chip cookies. Mr. Williams would play his accordion, and the playful duo Mia and Max offered a magic show that they had been practicing for weeks. Even grumpy old Mr. Jenkins agreed to supervise the potato sack race. As the sun shone brightly on the day of the party, Timmy's excitement was irreplaceable. Colorful balloons decorated every corner, and cheerful music filled the air. All the neighbors gathered around, chatting and laughing. The kids enjoyed face painting and games, while the adults reminisced about old times. Suddenly, Timmy heard a soft sniffle. He turned around to find little Lucy, looking forlorn with her ice cream cone on the ground. Without hesitation, Timmy ran to the refreshment stand and grabbed a new cone for her. "Here you go, Lucy. Don't be sad," he beamed, handing her the treat.
Let's enjoy next story.
In a small town nestled between rolling hills and sparkling streams, there was a special place called the Helping Hands Food Bank. Many people visited there to find support and a warm smile when times were tough. One sunny Saturday morning, a group of friends, Max the squirrel, Lily the rabbit, Oliver the wise old owl, and Sophie the hedgehog, decided to volunteer at the food bank. Max the squirrel was energetic and always buzzing with ideas. Lily the rabbit was kind and gentle, always ready to lend a helping hand. Oliver the wise old owl was knowledgeable and liked to teach others. Sophie the hedgehog, though a bit shy, had a warm heart and was exceptionally good at organizing things. They arrived early and met Mrs. Maple, the friendly bear who ran the food bank. "Welcome, and thank you for coming to help today," she said with a big smile. She gave them each a special job to do. Max's job was to sort through the fresh fruits and vegetables. He dashed around, making sure each carrot, apple, and leafy green was fine and ready for the shelves. Lily's task was to pack bags with essential food items for families. She carefully placed canned goods, pasta, and rice into sturdy bags, imagining how happy the families would be to receive them. Oliver was tasked with educating visitors about good nutrition. Perched on his branch, he used his deep voice to explain the benefits of eating balanced meals, even teaching a few simple recipes.
Let's enjoy next story.
Once upon a time, in a cozy little village, lived Mia and Leo, two best friends. They both loved adventures and exploring new places. One sunny morning, they decided to go for a picnic by the lake, a beautiful spot just outside their village. Mia packed a basket with sandwiches, fruits, and some cookies, while Leo brought along a big blanket and his trusty kite. As they strolled towards the lake, the birds were chirping cheerfully, and the gentle breeze felt like a warm hug. Upon reaching the lake, they found the perfect spot under an old oak tree. Mia spread out the blanket, and they unpacked their delicious food. Just as they were about to eat, a funny little squirrel named Nutty appeared, sniffing around curiously. "Hello, little squirrel. Would you like to join our picnic?" Mia asked kindly. Nutty nodded eagerly and hopped onto the blanket, eyeing the cookies with delight. As they enjoyed their meal, Nutty shared stories of the forest, making Mia and Leo giggle with his animated tales. After their scrumptious lunch, Leo decided it was time to fly his kite. The kite soared high into the sky, gliding and twirling with the wind. Meanwhile, Mia noticed something sparkling near the water. Curious, she walked closer and discovered a tiny jeweled bottle. Inside was a rolled-up piece of paper.
Let's enjoy next story.
Benny the bunny and Sammy the squirrel lived in a cozy little forest where everyone loved to learn new things. One day, their teacher, Mrs. Owl, announced that the forest school's annual science fair was coming up. Benny's nose twitched with excitement. Science fairs meant experiments, and Benny loved experiments. Sammy, on the other hand, was a bit nervous. He'd never done a science project before. Mrs. Owl handed out colorful flyers and said, "Work with a partner and let your imagination soar." Benny hopped right over to Sammy. "Let's be partners," he said with a big smile. Sammy hesitated but then nodded. "Okay, but what will we do?" Benny's eyes sparkled. "I heard Grandpa Tortoise talking about the power of plants. Maybe we can do something with that." Sammy's ears perked up. He loved plants and had a little garden outside his treehouse. The next day, Benny and Sammy gathered at Sammy's garden. They decided to do an experiment to see which type of sunlight, morning, midday, or evening, helped plants grow the best. Benny brought colorful ribbons to mark the spots, while Sammy brought 3 pots with little seedlings. They carefully placed the pots in different parts of the garden. Every day after school, they would water the plants and take notes. Benny drew pictures of the plants in his notebook, while Sammy measured their height with a tiny ruler. Mrs. Owl even lent them her special magnifying glass to see the leaves up close.
Let's enjoy next story.
In the bustling town of Sunnytown, there was a supermarket called Happy Grocer that everyone loved to visit. One sunny morning, Max the cat, Lila the rabbit, and Benji the beaver decided to go shopping together. Max was the curious one, always peeking into every aisle. Lila was very organized and had a shopping list ready, while Benji was known for his strength and carried their shopping basket with ease. As they entered Happy Grocer, the supermarket lights twinkled, and the aisles seemed endless with colorful packages and fresh produce. Lila took out her list and they started at the vegetable section. Max marveled at the different types of lettuce, carrots, and tomatoes, while Lila quickly picked the freshest ones. Benji, on the other hand, loved the heavy potatoes and carried them effortlessly. Next, they moved to the dairy section. Lila picked out milk and cheese, Max enjoyed looking at all the different yogurt flavors, and Benji insisted on getting the biggest tub of ice cream. As they walked down the cereal aisle, Max knocked down a box but quickly picked it up, giggling. Then they found themselves near the bakery, where the smell of fresh bread and pastries made their tummies rumble. They chose a loaf of bread, some cupcakes, and Benji couldn't resist grabbing a giant cookie. When they reached the checkout, Ms. Owl, the friendly cashier, greeted them. She swiftly scanned all their items while engaging them in cheerful conversation. Max asked Ms. Owl questions about the different food items, and Lila made sure they hadn't forgotten anything on the list.
Let's enjoy next story.
Every morning, Lily the squirrel would wake up bright and early, twitch her bushy tail, and scamper down from her treehouse nestled in the tallest oak tree. She had a bus to catch. Not just any bus, but the Forest Friends Express, driven by the witty and ever-so-charming Mr. Hoots, the owl. Lily loved this bus ride through the enchanted forest more than anything. It was the time she got to meet all her delightful friends. There was Bucky the beaver, who always had a funny story to tell, Mimi the marmot, who carried a satchel filled with maple cookies, and Pip the porcupine, who was shy but always offered a new book to read. The bus itself was a wonder to behold. It was crafted from the finest twigs and leaves, with acorn seats that fit just right. Brightly colored mushrooms adorned the ceiling, twinkling like fairy lights. Each morning held an air of magic and anticipation. On this particular morning, Lily noticed something unusual. Mr. Hoots was not wearing his usual hat but a vibrant bandana. "Good morning, Mr. Hoots. Lovely bandana today," Lily chirped. Mr. Hoots hooted warmly and winked. "Thank you, Lily. It's a special day. We're picking up a new friend today." Lily's eyes widened with excitement. Who could it be? The bus rolled along, collecting its cheerful passengers. When they reached the sparkling waterfall, the bus halted. Emerging from behind a large fern was a deer, elegant and graceful, with the kindest eyes Lily had ever seen. "Everyone meet Grace," announced Mr. Hoots. Grace shyly stepped onto the bus, and Lily scooched over to offer her a seat. "Hi Grace, I'm Lily," she said with a friendly wave. As the bus continued its journey, Grace shared stories about her meadow home and the flowers she loved. Mimi offered Grace a maple cookie, and Bucky began another one of his amusing tales. Even Pip handed Grace a book titled The Enchanted Garden. By the end of the ride, everyone felt as if they had known Grace forever. The bus finally reached the Great Oak School, where all the forest friends learned and played together. "See you tomorrow," they all chirped, squeaked, and hooted. And as Lily scampered off the bus, she couldn't wait for the next morning's ride, filled with friendship, fun, and maybe even another delightful surprise.